Alright, hello. So let's just go through this bot right here. This is the bot that is going to be used with the template. I have three variables. So I have the bot response, stt_lang, and stt_transcript. Stt is just short for speech to text. So type string on all of them. And yeah, you just start out by creating those three. Then we have this single choice card. I give them three options, so English, Danish, and German. And I just give them this retry message, and that just says we don't support that language, and I'll just give the number of retries to 1. So yeah, if the user wants to try to speak Swedish or something, it doesn't support the language right in here. But you can just edit it to basically support all of the languages that you want to. Just make sure that the WebKit speech API does also support the language, so you can transcribe it properly. We save it in the variable workflow.stt_lang, just as a start right here, and then we have this. So if the language that we said earlier from this single choice card right here is English, and this is just the three types of ways to spell English in the languages, so this is English, German, and Danish, because when the translator agent is on and the language is set to Danish, but we want to switch it up, it will display the text right here as the version right here in Danish. So yeah, I have to keep all of them in. This variable right here is setting this, like the variable we saved in our single choice right here is being set as en-us. This is the BCP 47 language code. And this is just so our WebKit speech API knows what language it should transcribe from. Now we are setting the translator agent to English also. This is so our chat will also run in the same language. This is the Danish one, and this is the German one. So yeah, and this is as a backup. So if the user still tries to set it to Swedish, it will be set to English. I have console.log it, but you can also print it out to the user and say that it has now been set to English as a standard because it couldn't get a proper language from that text. Or it couldn't get a supported language from the text. So yeah. In general, I have console.log a lot of things. These are for debugging. And just as a start, you can just delete them when you are in production. These will just help you a bit when setting everything up and if you have some issues. Then we let the user know that their selected language is whatever is in this variable. And then we send the custom event with the payload tts_lang and then the language BCP 47 language code. So yeah, if we look in here, we can just go through this quickly. So we will start out by writing npm init-y, and then we will write npm install express openai course and .env. Then we will want to add our API key in this .env file. So right here we want to replace this. I have just copied mine like this, but you can also go to the platform on OpenAI that is for like the page for API keys and just copy it from that. Now we have set this. We want to replace in the index.js file, so client ID webhook, we want to replace this with our own bot. So we'll go back into here, we'll go into integrations, we'll go into configurable. Also, before you do this, I recommend you to have this allow users to delete conversations, just so you can restart the conversation. But yeah, so enable that, save configuration. Once it has saved, it will be like a green pop-up right here. Go to configurable and copy this part. This is all you need. And you can just paste it in here. So like this, and just save it. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, we are sending this event right here with the tts_lang. So this is to catch the event, and if the event type is trigger and it is tts_lang, we are basically going to set this variable tts_lang on our website to whatever the BCP 47 language code is we got from our bot. So yeah, and then we are console.logging it and saying that the language is this. You can just like comment this out or just completely delete it once you are at production. But yeah, this code, I will save this for later when it's relevant. But yeah, all you have to really know is that we're using this WebKit speech recognition, and you don't really have to change anything from it. I don't think so. No. We have these two buttons. We have a start button and we have a stop button. So when we start, click on the start button, we'll start the recognition, and we are setting the language right here to TTS language, the language we got from our bot. You can also set this to a permanent language if you know that it's only going to be used in English or only in German. You can just set it like this. So you will change this out and do it like this, and then like en-us. But we are going to have it like this. Now this is for the stop button. We are going to stop the recognition and we are going to console.log the transcript. You can also delete this. And then we are sending a payload back to our bot with the transcript. So basically whatever it's the question the user asked or whatever the user said. And then in our bot right here, we have this custom trigger set up to basically this get triggered every time we receive a payload. So every time something like this gets sent, we can retrieve it. This gets triggered. Now I have this card, text card right here with the text test. And this is just so that every time I receive a payload, this gets sent. You don't have to leave this in production. This is just so you can see that you actually received the payload, the trigger. So yeah. Another thing, by the way, if you decide to change this TTS lang, you have to also change it up here. And yeah, also here and also here. Just be sure that you're also changing it there or it will not work. The same goes for this bot response right here. If you decide to change that, this is the bot response right here. If you want to name it something else that you might think is better, make sure to change it here. And the same goes for these payloads. If you decide to change this right here, TTS STT transcript, make sure you go into here and change it also here. So yeah, but we are coming to this right now. So we are setting our workflow variable STT transcript to the transcript we got from our website. And then we are console.logging this, but you can just delete this in production. This is just for debugging and so that you know it works. What we're doing now is that we are having this AI task input with the transcript from the website. And I have just made this really simple instruction. You might want to do something else with it. This is just as for the template to show that it works. So respond to the user's question, save the user's response in the workflow.response variable, and answer it in the same language as the question, which is either English, Danish, or German. The reason why I have this is because Danish and Swedish can be a bit confusing for the bot. For especially like GPT 3.5, which I am using right here, it can be a bit confusing. So I have told it that it's either going to be English, Danish, or German, and it will just select Danish if it thinks that it's might be Swedish. If you're using a lot of languages or you don't think this is going to be an issue, you can just delete this. But yeah. Now, yeah, we store the result in this bot response, and I'm using the model 3.5. You can use GPT-4. You can also, instead of like having this, you can also use the query knowledge bases card. And then what you will do is just have workflow dot and then STT transcript, and you'll save it in the bot response like this. And basically, this is going to be whatever the user said. And it's transcribed on the website. It's going to be like this. You might want to run this through an AI task first, because if the user says something like, oh, am I live now? Can it hear me? And then it can see it starts typing, and it'll be like, and then it asks its questions. The query will be a bit scuffed. So you might want to have like an AI task that says something like, this is the user's input. Make it into a concise question that can be used to query a knowledge base. So something like that. You'll have to play around with it. But yeah, just to make sure that it actually works and it doesn't get like messed up because the user said something that isn't really a question and it's not being able to find an answer to it. So yeah, but we are not using it with any knowledge bases right now. So yeah, there was a problem with when it gave an output, like when it was asked to do some math. So basically, what is 100 plus 100? This means what is 2 plus 2? It would just say 4, and it will add quotes around it. So it would do something like this, 4. This would be the output from it. And having quotes in the payload, or didn't really find out if it was struggling with in the payload, or if it was with this from OpenAI. If it was struggling in here with the quotes, I'm not sure about that, but it wouldn't work. So I added these examples for what it should output when I was doing math. Also to make sure that it outputted something like 100 plus 100 is 200 and not just 200. So yeah, I have also added this bit of code right here to remove the quotes from the response from it. So yeah, now after we have run all of this, we are sending this event right here with this payload bot response and then the response from the bot, and we are handling that in here. So when right here, when it's the bot response that's in the event, the payload, it will basically just set this. This is for setting the text on the website, and it will just set it to the current content, so whatever was there before, and then it will basically just have the response from the bot. You don't really need this if you don't want to display it on your website. So yeah, now we are running this function synthesize speech, and then basically this text that we got from the payload. And if none of this runs, like if it wasn't the bot response that was in the payload, or it wasn't the TTS lang, we just console.log something went wrong, just to know that. Then we can scroll down to the synthesize speech, and right here we are using our localhost 3000. Make sure that if you in here, if it's not the 3000 one that you are using, if you set it to use something like 8000 or 5500, make sure that you also change it in here, or it will not work. Yeah, you don't really have to change anything in here. This should all work. Just make sure that this is the localhost 5500 if that is what you decide to use. Yeah, now what is going on in here? This is just from OpenAI, their text-to-speech model. And yeah, we're just creating a fake voice for the bot's response to display on your website. So yeah, you don't really have to change anything in here. If I run this over like this, it gave me an error. No, oh yeah, I totally forgot that. I should have done this earlier, but we'll just do it here. So between description and main, add this type module, and this will work now. So no server.js. Yeah, there you go. Now we can open up our index.html file. So go into here, it's this one, index.html, and it's not supported here on Opera. It's supported on most browsers. It is supported on Chrome, but unfortunately Opera does not support it, but most browsers do support it. Now we can test out everything. We saved everything we did. Nice. So initialize the bot, and we'll just do English. And now it's ready. So the selected language is English, and it's American. And start listening. This is for basically right now when we press this, it's going to record our microphone, and when we press stop listening, it will stop, and then it will process the transcript and send it to our bot. So what is 2 plus 2? We'll do like this.
2 plus 2 is 4.
As you can hear right there, it gave us the response of 2 plus 2 is 4. Then we can ask it, we can start over. So we have to initialize it, I forget that. Okay, so we'll try in German. Okay, so now it's picked German, and we can start listening. So we'll just ask, wer ist Joe Biden? Oh. Yeah, it got this because I was too fast.
Ja, ich weiß, wer Joe Biden ist.
we ask it if it knows who Joe Biden is. We'll ask it again. So, wer ist Joe Biden?
Joe Biden ist der 46. Präsident der Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika.
And that is true. That was German. But yeah, I just said that Joe Biden is the 46th president in America. And as you can see right here, it's printing out this test every time we receive this. Like we get this sent the payload to Botpress. And this is just so that we know that it actually receives it. We can also print out whatever we really want to send it and process it however you want to. I hope this was helpful. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you.